All right, guys, let's rock and roll here on this fabulous July 8th gathering of City of Lawrence Parks and Recreation Board. We have copious numbers of items that we have to get to, and we've been seeing a whole lot of each other lately. Public service announcement, don't forget mandatory mask wearing for mayor's order starting tomorrow, so please adhere to that. Stay cool. And dodge the raindrops. D, high five. We've been keeping you busy. Hopefully, colleagues, you've gotten a chance to glance at 1, 2, 3 sets of minutes from our various encounters. And Miss D, thank you very much for getting those out and getting it taken care of. It's a big deal getting this work done. If anybody has any additions, subtractions, corrections about the minutes, please submit them now. If not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor accepting the minutes as written and submitted, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes?
you have to roll call vote.
Oh, I apologize. I have a backup here. So those, I forgot, I'm still stuck in. Thank you there, Mr. Eric. Okay, all those, okay, I'll do a roll call. Yay or nay on the minutes, acceptance and submission, Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Miss Karen?
Aye.
Helen?
Aye.
Is Wendy on board with us? No. An aye for me. God, I gotta get used to this, Eric. We all need to come back together, please. Make my life, it's about me, make my life easy. Couple of board comments here real quick. On the positive side, we are making real good progress. High five to Jimmy Hennigan and his folks. Jimmy, high five to you. They're working hard on not only taking care of the road we drive on, but our walking path, our new one out at Lee Road. It's not ready to be open yet, but it is getting there. It's exciting to see that. I went on the record. I do it every year. Shout out to RJ and Bobby and Ronnie and the rest of the yahoos. I can call them that because we all went to school together. They always do a great job. Though this 4th of July was, to say the least, curtailed, people will be people. And on July 5th, they came in. We used to call it bending and stooping. That's what you did, hand picking and emptying the trash. Thankless job, but it was hot. They did a great job. So just a high five to those guys. They do a super job for us.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I did it for 6, 7 years, and it wasn't fun a long time ago, and there are times I know it's not real fun now, so shout out. Eric, real quick, just give one more quick report. Is the Thingamajig Park, help me out, the Explorer Park,
It's, the playground's open, yes.
and it's all mulched and we're rocking it?
Mulched, we still have to put the surfacing border in. But it's weeks out while the contractor's out far behind. But we have surfacing in so the kids can play on it.
Do we?
I was by there today. It looks good.
Do we have anything else exciting project? I've slept. Like out at OYO Veterans Park, I should say. Anything?
I can just go through my,
Go. Make it.
just real quickly. We opened up the office and opened up all of our building
Thank you.
reservations this week. It's nice having people in out of the office actually, but we had quite a crowd Monday and Tuesday, and probably 15 or so reservations probably
Wow. And these are for reservations
for
for
next year. And we
2020.
also have some that are filling in the gaps for this year's.
Okay. Thank you, Dee.
The farmer's market is open. I just want to let everybody know that they're open on Thursdays from 4 to 7, and they now have food service, so you can go get your egg rolls and other treats that are over there just to give Mandy some business.
Okay.
She's trying to hard to get people over there. Our senior programming, with regards to our activities at the community center and at the Starrett Center, we're holding off until the first week of August
Okay.
to open those programs back up, just to be on the safe side. Master plan, for those that are on the committee, you should have got a Google or a Doodle survey today to fill out,
For meeting.
have our next meeting.
And Eric, on that real quick, can the citizenry take the survey now?
They can go online to the city website. It's on the city Facebook page.
Those of you on Facebook watching this, get it out to your neighbors. It's the only way we're going to go forward. Mayor Collier's got his staff, and I'd call Joe Murphy and Tyler out if they were here. But they have some ideas I think is exciting, and we won't know really how far to pursue them if citizenry doesn't let us know. So get to the city website and take survey. It's not a long one.
And I know Dr. Nesmith has the information. He's going to try to somehow incorporate it into the school
Okay.
bulletins to get that information.
Question, how long will that be on the website for?
It'll be on our website through August the 16th.
Okay, thank you.
Just briefly, the cultural campus, if you've driven by there, they're now filling the holes up with concrete, so
Yeah.
they got everything knocked down. It seems like they're progressing fairly well. And again, we're scheduling events for next year, so our renters are aware that there's construction going on, and
Okay.
doesn't seem to bother the brides, which is good. Explorer Park, we mentioned. Soccer Park, we actually today and tomorrow we're remulching that and putting new surfacing in there.
Did we get our tree mess cleaned up out at the Bark Park, or the fence back up?
Yes.
Okay.
That was up Friday, I think it was, that we got that put back up. Just real quickly, the revenue report, the general accounts look in pretty good shape. We should be at around 50% of our spending. So just to let you know, we're at 43% in salaries and wages and 39% in benefits. So, and only 14% expended in overtime.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The cost savings to the citizens, and then in general, the budget's 40 cents expended. With regards to non-reverting, we've have $25,000 in revenue production. That's 16% of our budget.
Are we softballing?
We haven't made that determination yet. We've got some softballers that want to play, but we're
Yeah, it's a numbers thing. I get it.
just so
Yep.
just so close that we're not
Got to understand.
we're not sure if we want to involve that and then turn around and make refunds. So.
Yep.
So revenues at 16%, expenditures on non-diverting are 18%. So right now we're pretty much of a wash for.
And I always bring this up every year, just refresh the board's mind. I know Miss Wendy, when it comes to budget with the school board, we're entering that time of the year. So Eric, what's kind of the timeline with?
We are too. We should be getting our workbooks here within probably next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Generally, we have those turned into council, into the council review the middle of August,
All right.
and then approved by the end of September.
What? And I'm putting you on the spot here. What are you wanting to do? There's a want and have to do. So where are we
I
at?
think this next year is going to be really tight with regards to,
You had to stay with have to do.
I imagine it'll be a very flat budget.
Okay. All right.
Does allow for anything, we're still behind on our playground
Right.
revitalization.
Right. I see what.
Alexander Park's the next one.
Okay.
Community Park is showing its age too, so.
And I did, and we talked about this earlier. Today, I did have a neighbor kid ask about the skate park and it being opened and all of that.
Being what?
Open.
It is open.
Okay, I guess he came by and,
You know, it's we have a lot of graffiti problems there. It's just to the point now we're not sure whether to go in and paint it. It's to the point now where every time we go in and clean it,
you're just wiping the chalkboard off.
just
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd say as long as it's not,
Right, yeah.
it's not vulgar
Yeah.
or it's not. I know the gang symbols could be anything. Some of them, you just kind of looks like they're gang symbols. You don't know where they are or not. Keeping those things out, I'd say.
Be a nice arts project.
yeah, and that might be something again we
Yeah,
talked
with Judy.
Judy about.
Yeah.
So,
And just a side note, I wanted to add, Eric was talking about the cultural district and how it's coming along. I'm going to give a shout out. Judy's usually here. Shout out. They're doing everything online, and they got really good numbers for their classes and everything that they're doing. It just be exciting when you can actually pull up and gather them as a crowd. So I want to give a shout out to that.
so that I'm happy.
September 5th, what's our
September 5th is our it's a Labor Day program, Heroes Appreciation for frontline workers.
right? First responders, yeah, the front line, yeah.
Grocery store workers, everyone.
Now, will the center of that, those fun activity, will they be over here or over at the
It will be
community
at
park?
Community Park.
Okay.
On the around the sledding hill, we'll have a band. I think it starts at 6, but there's activities during the day. We've got a car show and more or less our July 4th event
That's kind of-
morphed
Till Labor Day,
Labor Day.
got it. And we're having fireworks, people.
We're having fireworks. Yeah.
Parade?
No parade.
Oh, dang. Oh, shoot.
We will have 5 straight days of balmy 50-degree weather, but every time we schedule a parade, it just, geez, oh, Pete.
It'd be at least 100.
Oh, it's just people dropping. Yes.
And we're assuming that the paving will be done at Community Park before that, or at least the mayor said that will be. So.
That'll be, I'll tell you what, that'll be
At
worth
least we got a
celebration.
deadline for them now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I've got a question about that. Back there by what do we call it, the Community Activities Center?
Uh-huh.
Okay, the drainage is really bad there. And is there any way, I know we talked about this before, and I understand why you've got to have a hard surface. Is there any place else that we could put a hard surface? Now that we're paving, if we get a little extra paving, is there any place else we could put that? Because, people are having to park pretty far away from the building.
or for the activity center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lot was never
Intended to have a building.
never constructed correctly. The dirt can be moved, and we can expand that lot if
I mean, whatever you could do. I think since we're doing the paving now, if we could get just a little more paving, give you a place to have a hard surface,
Yeah.
and keep the parking there with the community activity center.
Yeah, it needs probably 10 or 12 spaces. It doesn't need a lot.
No, but
more.
yeah, but the drainage is so bad that the water was
all underwater now.
it covered all of those parking spots that were across from the building.
Yeah, all we've
Are
got
we
is-
raising an ADA issue with this then?
No, it's just parking. We have ADA parking in front of the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the real parking
Okay,
spots in front.
okay. I didn't know. Okay.
So it would probably take a new drain tile, because the original drain tile is just a little 4-inch PVC, and I think it's collapsed. That's why it doesn't drain.
Okay, yeah, it's gotten worse, hasn't it?
It's kind of filtrates through
Okay.
probably through what we used to call paving, but it
Used to-
gravel. Yeah.
Gravel.
I got one other question. The trail on Lee Road, are we going to be responsible for that?
We haven't figured that out quite yet.
No, I
we
bugged Joe
discussed
a
it,
little
but
bit
we haven't determined who's going to be. More than likely, it'll be the Parks Department will have jurisdiction and can do the maintenance.
Basically, the scope, it's not quote unquote going to be a primitive trail, but it's
It's going to be paved, right?
Well,
I don't want to use pet word paid. It's an aggregate material.
it's aggregate, so it's, but probably dragging and going in, checking to make sure that trash is picked up. And that's will fall on the Parks Department, yeah.
Where will that be, the trail on Lee Road?
It's south of the Senior Diamond, in that wooded lot between the Senior Diamond and the fire station.
If you go down about 100 yards, not even that, 50 yards south of the firehouse there, they've got a temporary sign saying coming soon. You can see where the path goes.
Gotcha.
Just about where the wildflowers.
Yep, there you go. That's what I should have used. Yep.
Have we thought about the safety procedures and, it's when it's in a wooded area, you
Yeah,
thought to that.
we'll have to have some signage in there, of course, cell phone and, suggesting that people walk in pairs and that sort of thing.
Good.
But, yeah, it does, it's a little woolly back in there.
So will that be kind of a twisting, winding path?
It is, it's kind of a,
It is. It's serpentine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it opens there onto Lee Road, and then also opens into the park right behind. I'm not sure what field it is.
Okay.
Can you access it from the bike trail right in front of the fire station?
The sidewalk
Uh-huh.
How far down does the sidewalk go there?
right to there.
Okay.
It goes, it
So
goes
it'll
there.
connect with the sidewalk on the east side of the road. So you can, it's actually a couple loops in there.
Yeah, I saw where the path went.
Yeah, so it's, you can do a short loop, or you can go all the way around and come out on the other side. But there's a couple varieties.
There were two different colors on that map. Did you know what I'm talking about? It looked like one, well, there were two parts to it. Does that
Okay.
make any sense, or? It was in the email that they sent out.
No, I think it's, yeah,
It's not the big deal. I just wondered.
yeah. It's almost a mile back.
Yeah, that's the length. A little short tick of a mile.
All
Yeah.
right, well, I'll be in shape then.
Yeah.
Let's see Tom every day.
Yeah,
We may name it after
I'll
you.
be use it.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Eric. Any more comments from the board? Okay. All right. We have a couple agreements that we got to hammer out here. We are returning to.
Could we take B first?
Oh yeah, let's do that. One's a little easier. All right. If you don't mind, Mr. Virgil. Real quick, Eric. I will need a motion, and we'll discuss. Motion for to enter an agreement with City of Lawrence Parks and Recreation Board, a special multiple use agreement with the Lawrence Township Football League.
What's the financial?
Yep, we'll discuss it here. Here we go. Eric, everything's straightforward. You're using the same field, same restrooms at Burns Football Field on 56th Street. It's to go from July 8th through November the 15th. And the fees, I'll go ahead and read it. Lawrence Township Football League, subject to the payment of a total fee, and this is based on the number of athletes from last year, correct, Mr. Eric?
Yeah, $15 per head for 210.
Athletes. Okay, that's a payment of $3,300. Both that reflects both a direct payment and an in-kind payment. Direct payment of the fee is due, payable to the first date in paragraph 2 above. You guys can read that. This fee shall be divided in the following manner, and then the purchase installation done in coordination with Eric, upon approved by the board, the approximate value of $3,300. That's the financial particulars. The rest of the, Eric, is there any other changes from what we've entered into in the past?
I don't think so. Ashley did request, and I think it was just wordage. as far as our wordage on item 1, subject to terms and conditions, we just had to list the concession stand twice.
Okay, got it. So more of a, okay,
It was, yeah, clerical.
more of a fiduciary event. Okay, those are the particular financials that we have here. I guess I'll start with the question, and it all revolves around the in-kind services and/or payment in real dollars. And I'm going to high five Mr. Aldrich did provide Lawrence Township Football League COVID-19 regulation, for lack of a word. So make sure we get those circulated. Eric, I'm just going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put Eric on the spot. Eric, how much different was Football League from OYO's COVID procedures? And I'm going to pick on you. Virgil, whose guidance reference did you use just for public input or knowledge?
We tried to go through every public order we could find.
Okay.
CDC,
Okay.
everything we could, and then sort of take an extra step with the temperature check of our kids.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
They will come to a table. We will have people there. We're not trusting the coaches. It's not going to be a questionnaire for parents.
No.
We will actually do it.
Okay.
Now, I want to be as transparent as I can.
Yeah, I understand. Yes.
Because we have started preseason workouts. We're waiting on our thermometers. So right now, there are a couple details of this that, as we speak, we are not 100% compliant. We will be as soon as we get the supplies we need, and hopefully that's tomorrow, on the thermometers. And then we also understand that we're required as a contact sport before we have a game that we have to submit to the Board of Health
Yep.
And we will do that, and we will be 100%. We will do what we say we are going to
Yeah.
do.
They will.
And right now I know that we're not required to, but as soon as we get everything we need, we want to do it as a dry run to be efficient and good at it when we're required to.
We kind of, yes, our Monday was our first back for IHSAA sports for the fall. We had a few bumps in the road getting her going, but the kids were really good. Their masks, we squirt their hands before practice with hand sanitizer. You know what I'm saying, I can't even talk. They're in charge of their own water bottles. They were marked out where they're to stand for stretching. They're released. I hate to say we hold them, but we hold them pinned up in the stands, and as their parents go, they have their mask on when they walk out of the facility. They have to have it on when they get out of the vehicle. They have it on. They take it off when we start the workout, but it's back on again when we're done with the workout. When they leave, they get hand sanitizer all over again. And you make the comment,
Well,
if you don't follow these rules, this is why we don't get to have nice things.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
when players enter, our plan is we're going to have hand sanitizer at the table, so every kid will sanitize
Just
their hands
regularly,
as they do
okay.
the temperature check. And then we're going to have a bottle on either side of each field so that they can do that as they exit before they rejoin their family. The one area where I would accept guidance is the masks, because our plan now, and I don't know that this would change, even with the mayor's order outdoors, it says that masks are required if socially distancing is not possible.
I'm going to plan. I should know this because I'm coach and I'm playing. I'll be honest. Once it goes in effect tomorrow, the kids, this is how we're dealing with it. Kids they'll have their masks on. If their parents don't make them put them on in the car, I'm not their parent. But they will have their mask on when they walk out of that vehicle. It's kind of what we're doing now. It stays on until we start the workout. They can take it off when they're the workout. They have it with them. And when they come back and they're done with the workout, the mask goes back on again.
So, right now where we are is and we've actually got a special meeting this Saturday just to incorporate the mayor's
Right.
order. and some other issues that we've got in the league.
I see with your coaches and parents during practice workouts right now, I see them having mandatory that they wear them. I'm going to be honest. The kids are in a workout mode, a conditioning mode. I don't think they are. If somebody can chime in, Facebook out there, land. I don't think they have to wear them during that workout phase.
No, I think it would actually be contrary.
Be kind of dangerous. But I do think the coaches and parents, if they're there watching or whoever's there,
I'm not trying to be argumentative, but for me at least, coaches are in.
I know.
Because if my coach is active enough.
I'm going to put it this way. I'm putting it out there not as mandatory. I shouldn't use that word. I'm saying.
Everything's highly recommended.
I'm going yeesh. Yeah, recommend. I'm going yeesh. That's a yeesh on my part.
But because of the ambiguity in the mayor's order, if it's your wish and recommendation and requirement to use the facility, we will do anything that we need to do. But we will need to, in my opinion, we need to own that policy and say we're requiring you to wear masks because the mayor's order does not outside.
Right.
I wish that he just made a definitive statement and made life easier for everyone. So,
Virgil, let's go this right. You said you have a meeting when?
Saturday at 4.
Unless somebody gives us guidance after this meeting, hopefully, we usually get 200 or 300 people at least look at us, chime in and give us official guidance before Saturday, and Eric, make sure that you get it. You need to inform us what you would advise to do, and then we might jump on that.
Mr. President, what does the IHSAA say about coaches?
This is the IHSA's guidelines were even very ambiguous. I tell you what we do. You speaking as cross country coach. We have our masks on when we come out with the kids. They're always with us. Obviously, when we come in close proximity, the masks go on. I think starting tomorrow, we remove the mask when we're talking to the kids. Then we put it back on. But it's kind of ambiguous from that standpoint. I know I'll use football at the varsity level out there. All the coaches, the kids were going through their individual stretching exercises. Even if the coaches weren't directly engaged, they had their masks on. But when they were, and Pat would stand out in front with great, he's 20 feet out in front of him. He does not have his mask on, but when he gets more proximate, the mask does come on.
Now, and both varsity coaches have been at our fields, and, board members absolutely will have masks on. Coaches, I'm pretty sure we can enforce that with a high degree of probability and compliance. Parents, there's just going to be a battle.
Yeah, because they're going to.
And it's we have to fight that. Now, I will do anything I need to do to have football.
Right.
But this is my personal view. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the board's going to land, but my personal view is that we strongly recommend, we've got masks available in the concession stands for purchase. As I read the order, they must put a mask on if they enter our building.
Right.
And even the restroom, which we're not going to be.
That's a little strange. Yeah, you get to enforce that. I'm not.
Well, but we have to say it, and we have, in my opinion, we have to post a sign.
Yeah, I think that's something. The signs.
Right, that's
really
a requirement.
Yeah, you got to show intention.
When they're
you're intentional.
Outdoors on the sideline, I think it's going to be hard for us to go beyond a strong recommendation. Now, what we are doing, when you looked at our COVID plan, and I'll need to speak to Eric about this a little bit, we want to put an actual barrier a rope line between the kids and the spectators.
Yeah, you're going to have to,
And then we're going to mark that so that there are defined social distancing spaces, and our instruction is going to be, as a family, when you get there, you get your seat.
That's your world.
Gets a box seat.
Yeah, it's your world.
And we're not moving up and down with the ball. So even if they don't have a mask on, they should be socially distanced within their family group.
Right.
That'd be good.
We want to keep people safe. We don't want to make the news. We don't want you to worry about us. We want everyone to be happy and secure.
Yeah. try to get us back to normalcy, some sort of normalcy.
That is our goal. And as an aside, our plan right now is to use PVC pipe and like bury a 2-inch diameter a foot into the ground so that we can have 1.5 inch that it can slip in there, but will be temporary.
We'll take it in and out every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it won't last.
Well, we'll do it every day if we have to, but if we could just know when they're going to mow to do it
help them
I
out.
would prefer that. But again, we will do whatever we have to do to
Right.
keep football.
Like, this is still, like I said, this is a day-to-day emerging. Like, the Ivy League shut down all fall sports for the year, so it's
The
day-to-day.
last thing I want to do is make RJ or any of those folks. We're not going to make their job more difficult.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea if the coaches wore masks, because that sets an example. for
I was
everybody.
thinking of that.
You can't make the parents do it. They're just,
I can make my coaches wear a mask because they want football. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a small price to
It's an
pay.
example, and it's a good idea, and also maybe they won't yell at the officials as much.
I don't know about that.
we have a pretty
would be the
good group in
parents.
place.
Okay. Like I said, I don't know if that's possible. It's football. Real quick, I read on here, I want to get in a discussion about water. Mike Penrose and Jim Zeller at Lawrence North, they made, is it possible, are there any water horses that are out there with the
Yeah.
touchless water horses out there?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty close to what you're saying. Yeah, we've got a U-shaped where they can go to each side. They don't have to turn it. It's just on all the time.
Right, and that's the bad thing from that standpoint, but it is touchless, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and you pick. I don't understand it. We into the football season in the blizzard, but we started, in the middle of July. It's the hottest time of the year. I think that would be a way. I like that, and it's still not a bad idea. Let's have kids bring their own water bottles.
Yeah.
Well, that's our recommendation is that you bring a marked bottle for your child.
Yeah, marked. I'm sorry, I should put that in there.
We kind of do need our water station turned on if we can, and
Right.
I attempted it and failed, but because it was winterized, and I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to use it until Grant Nesbitt said, yes, I think you can, because we're breaking the bank just on, because right now we're providing bottled water.
No.
Well, and we won't be able to do that in the regular season
No.
because we are still in that transition where
Yeah.
we haven't been able to communicate everything.
Yeah,
to
that's
everybody.
right.
We have to take the responsibility to hydrate the kids, and so that's what we've been doing. And so if we can get that on, that would be amazing. And then I don't know if Eric shared my email, but I had a huge request, and I understand the magnitude of it, but we would like our bleachers and our picnic tables removed if at all possible to encourage social distancing.
Oh, yeah.
So let me interject.
Go ahead, Eric.
Pictures will be moved tomorrow. We're just gonna move them down to the parking lot by the saddle barn.
Yep, there it is. I'm ready to hear.
The tables are bolted down, so if we even took the tables out, we still have so we're gonna have to somehow mark that off.
Yeah, I'll glue down cones, or I'll do, if you can get those moved, because, we had thought about if you couldn't help doing it ourselves and stacking them on top of each other, but then they're a climbing hazard.
Yeah.
So
Talk about an attractive
we
nuisance.
really need them removed, and I'll make sure that I can make sure that those studs that are sticking out are, like I say, we can just duct tape a cone over each one so that, because there's really no reason for people to be congregating there.
Right.
We're going to have to mark that in 6-foot increments for social distancing anyway.
Yeah.
But there's no way I can keep people off those tables
Nope.
if they're there.
No, especially when it's hot and they want to sit and be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes my life, because and I know that's a big ask.
This is the other part here, and I'm going to leave this strictly for Eric and Mr. Virgil to deal with there. For this, Eric, this is directed at you, Eric. Are there any, as they are getting going on their season, are there any glaring maintenance needs that need to be put into that facility right now?
Air conditioning into might have been over there today working on it.
Okay. And that,
Put a new unit in.
but as far as the fields, anything, I mean, are we pretty good to go?
And I'll let Virgil address that. He's been over there more than I have.
I've tried to email him some, but there was some that split my mind. We've got, I think, well, okay, the sprinkler timers, they worked on them and now they're out of, so they're on now, or about now. And there are 2 heads. There's one on the southeast corner of the junior tackle field. I mean, if you turn them on, you'll find them. And then one sort of on right middle west of the 5th and 6th grade field. So they're just big geysers.
Okay.
And then in the ladies' restroom, there's one commode that's so loose that it's
About ready to go, get them
barely attached.
walk out.
And then the far right urinal in the men's restroom has been cracked right where the water comes. So if you flush it, you get a
The geyser.
spray.
That is not good with COVID.
That thrill that you weren't anticipating.
Well, yeah, it's not good for COVID, but it also, well, it is clean water. I mean, it's not
It's not good for anything.
supply water.
But it's still a thrill you weren't
It'll
anticipating.
wake
Any
you up,
spray and heat.
Yeah, they're going, ah.
But that's all that I know of.
Lighting situation out there.
I've not turned them on, but I will, and
I think that need not to dictate from here. I think that needs to be an ASAP thing because God knows when and if they'll everything. You don't know if they get them fixed. I think that let's get a ASAP on just the
okay.
light that need to be fixed.
I will. I'll do that. And
Okay. All right. So it looks like.
have a question.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you have done such an incredible job thinking through all of the COVID mandates as they come down periodically from on high,
Like I said that.
which is almost impossible. But you have public restrooms and concession area will be cleaned and sanitized regularly. What do you mean by regularly?
I mean, daily.
Okay.
And we've been talking about this. I wish there was a way that we could just hit it once midday. And that, unfortunately, that may not be as necessary because I think our numbers are going to be down significantly.
Oh yeah. I've been hearing that everywhere.
But daily minimum.
Okay.
And then just, there are things that aren't on there, like the water station, even though it's touchless.
Right.
Turn it off, sanitize the frame, every hour or so, then turn it back on. Just that extra measure of precaution, because kids will lean over and
Oh, God, kids,
even though they
yeah.
don't need to turn the water on.
Kids will be kids.
Use this as a rest.
Yeah.
And scoreboards, and I mean, today we've got preseason workouts, and that's where I was before I came here. Every bag, every cone, every ball, every pylon, anything that a kid can possibly touch during these workouts,
Right.
they were wiped down with sanitizer,
Okay.
which is probably overkill, but it looks good.
Well, yeah, and it does give you peace of mind helps. And once more, like Tom said, you're setting an example. If you have one parent that sees it,
Crucial.
it's important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other question for Mr. Virgil? Miss Helen, you still with us there, kiddo?
I am.
All righty. All right. Well, we have before us here a special multiple use agreement between City of Lawrence Parks Board and the Lawrence Township Football League. I'll reiterate it. The financials are a total fee of in-kind or cash or a combination thereof of $3,300. And something I'm really pushing really hard on, the in-kind items, and you have been really good about it. And Wendy and Karen, in this case, I'll give Virgil credit. His heart is legit. He's into it, and he's also very good about providing in kind. We would need as specific of whatever in kind is and to the penny, please. Okay, and then that will be that goes to Eric, but that'll be shared with the board.
Well, I understand it on that front. I would appreciate if if you know of anything
Yeah, that's why I was throwing it out
be
there.
done there that you're like, hey, we're going to have to expend time and energy to do this. Can you do it instead?
Yeah, run it by you. Yeah.
I would love that because
It's a good idea.
unfortunately, that's a big open space without a lot of maintainable stuff.
Right.
And so,
Can you fix it, Lily?
yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know that the folks out there, yes, I think they can.
Yeah, if I can get $5 for that, you won't have to send your guys. I can
There you go.
definitely get the toilet reattached. And if you bring me a urinal, I'll do that as well. But, joking aside, I appreciate how flexible the board has always been with us, and I would be remiss. I'm pretty happy with our COVID policy and how extensive it is. And it is not me. I appreciate your comments, but it was a group effort
It
that
sounds like it, yeah. 'Cause
a lot of people
picking and
do.
because it's got to be sports specific. You guys, football folks have to be so much more insane than my cross country folks.
Oh, yeah. Football's the
Our guys better not be trying to tackle each other. But I do appreciate that. Now, Mr. Wynn is your new president, correct?
Yes.
And are you feeling comfortable? Because you stepping back a little bit, it's not easy.
Frankly, especially recently, it's been pretty rocky and it's not always smooth, but
Right.
that's because I'm irascible. It'll be okay.
Okay.
As
you take your little hands and you pry them away from. I understand.
I love the team we have in place.
Okay, there you
Everyone
go.
has a skill set that I don't particularly have. We've got an amazing football director. We've got more people engaged than we've had. So
Who's
if
your
our
football
numbers are
director?
down, we should be able to love on these people like never before.
Who's your director?
Donald Thomas.
Okay.
Probably saw him play with the Colts.
Yeah. I remember you said that before, and I just wanted to make sure again.
Oh,
If you're not doing anything, come by the field and meet him because obviously he's a very good football player,
Right.
a pretty imposing individual. He is supremely pleasant, nice. He's awesome with the kids.
The kids respond to that.
He is,
And this is a time of when our kids, and I say kids, high school kids when I used to, but I really think are 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, how do you explain these in these times to someone that's that young? And I think the 8 inches between their ears right now, and by that I'm not talking about how well they got doing algebra, but their psyche.
all I wanted to do when I was that old was play.
Yeah, I just go out and play baseball and that type of stuff.
well, and obviously we all wish that this hadn't happened, but for LTFL, I see a really good opportunity because we've got a strong management group. We're probably going to have smaller numbers and have to get pretty creative as how to make this exciting and interesting for them. But we've had some fundamental changes that we've wanted to make for a while.
Right, yeah, I
Well,
knew that.
now our management to customer ratio is going to be so great that we can do that and grow from this.
Have you heard from the rest of around the state with youth football, what their
Yes.
status happens to be? Are there some that are in danger of not having?
A lot.
Okay, that's kind of what I
One
thought.
of my concerns, we may be as low as 2 teams for our first and second grade.
Right.
And I'm not even sure that we can find someone that we can partner with if we wanted to
Oh,
interleague.
wow. Okay.
We're getting very creative there. I've formulated a plan where we might conduct first and second grade almost as like a season-long camp and create teams every week with those kids so that
Right.
we get competition. And
Yeah.
we will figure out a way to give them an exciting time.
Like you said, Tom, you're that young, all you want to do is play.
All I did is
And we are
Play and learn.
But we're looking for partners. I know Paramount Public Schools, they used to go to Washington Township, but Washington Township is pure flag this year.
Oh, wow.
And so Scott Highland, their longtime president there, he's told them, if you want to play tackle football, go to Lawrence. They do things right. He and I've had a great relationship.
Okay.
He is an amazing guy. I don't know if you know Scott, but really a good guy. So I don't know exactly what the season's going to look like, but I am very optimistic.
Well, I feel good about, you had both high school coaches. I'm showing my age here. No, you probably had been retired. I had Will Patterson as a student at Lawrence North back in the dark ages, it seems like now. And he was he's an incredible presence, heck of a track athlete, shot putter. Went and played 4 years down in Bloomington at IU. He started, and he's just that's a positive hire there, Miss Wendy. I know the board had to go through, you guys deal with that. So he's a good piece to have. And I think I personally know, I think that he will provide the stability that football program desperately needs.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt there, but that is the understatement of the night.
Yeah.
That is an amazing hire. It is such a good fit. He has already been in our fields probably more this year
Yep.
than the previous coaches were in a couple years.
And I like that. And then that's just the way, youngins like that, they got that energy, and that's what we got to do in these trying times.
He
So.
understands Lawrence, and he's working hard. And then, of course, Pat at LC or LN. Oh boy, I'll get
That's how we get what agreement.
He is, a great stability there, and he has been in our fields a lot too. Both high schools have been well represented, both with coaches and kids.
Very good.
We've got a lot of nice things in place. We've got advantages that.
Take advantage of it. Keep that community going. All right, folks. Let's see if we were going to let these folks play a little football out there. Motion before us is to enter an agreement between the City of Lawrence Parks Board and LTFL. Use of Burns Field between July 8th and November 15th. The financials being payment in kind and or cash of $3,300. Stipulation with projects that are to be performed out there, being communication receipts to include costs. I'm going to add this, it's not in here, to the penny, of projects performed, submitted to Mr. Martin, project to be completed by November 15th. Not a whole lot different than in the past. I'm just emphasizing the detail. Provide insurance, we all know that. So that is the proposal before us. I need a motion.
So moved as stated.
All right, a second?
Second.
All right, we have to do this out loud. On accepting this special use agreement, Mr. Burns,
Aye.
Ms. Taylor,
Aye.
Ms. Mustin,
Aye.
Ms. Taylor, Ellen.
Aye.
Aye. And aye from the chair up here or from the president's seat. Let's go have some fun and keep our fingers crossed. Which the Ivy League shut down today for the fall. I'm being positive.
Amazing.
We're going to do something.
If I could indulge just for one more minute, because I do Lawrence Park baseball at Lawrence Community Park. We canceled our season, but I get lots of calls from folks. Mm-hmm. And what I have been telling people is, I'm not responsible for scheduling. It is a public park.
Yeah.
I cannot grant you permission to use it. So you may see a team practice there or see folks there. If you see anything that looks like organized activity, it's not endorsed.
Right. Eric, how is exactly, just for clarification, you can have a team show up and just practice there. I mean, even if they're an organized team, correct?
Yeah, but again, if you're holding tournaments, and there has to be an agreement.
Right. If it's a formal competition, got it.
No, I'm not. I mean, even if you see the same team there practicing regularly, they're doing it because the diamond is open and
Right, and there's not an issue with
no
that.
rent, no.
No, there's no issue.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's public park.
Right.
Yeah, it is, and so I'm obviously not telling people they can't come there.
Right. But even if it's the Virgil Aldridge Bombers and they're getting ready to go play at a tournament somewhere else, they can use the facility.
Okay.
Yes.
And lastly, this is the thing that RJ wants. And I really
All right.
try to get it to
Thank you, Mr. Virgil.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right. Next on the agenda. I'll get it signed. Next on the agenda is
Yeah, that's fine.
a return. I'm not going to rehash how we got here. After we last met and we did not agree to enter into a special use agreement, City Council reworked, and the special use agreement, I shared my feelings today with you folks. Just real quick, it would be an agreement. The licensee would be Ultimate Tournament Services. They are not represented here. Mr. Decker is in, hope he's fishing. He's in Arkansas. And Fall Creek Baseball and Softball League. And Eric, you can save me again. They are on this. We already have a licensee agreement with Fall Creek Baseball and Softball for their fall league.
Yes.
And this case, and walk us through why Fall Creek Baseball and Softball is attached to this special use agreement.
Well, in essence, because of the improvements done through Ultimate Tournaments, this benefits both the city and Fall Creek
Baseball, softball.
baseball.
Okay.
That's why they're privy to that's why they're assignee of the.
They're a signee, but they are not a licensee.
No,
This is an agreement to confer the providing of a service, in this case, operating of a baseball tournament, which is Ultimate Tournament Services, on a City of Lawrence property.
yes.
Okay. The particulars, you see the fields that are listed there. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 fields, restroom parking lots. You see what the term of the agreement is. Now, this is a part, Eric, help us out here. The standard fee for use of the premises, $75 per game per field. The direct payment portion of the fee is due and payable to the first date in paragraph 2 above, June 1st. This fee shall be divided in the following manner. You take a look at that part. I'm going to jump way down to the bottom here. It says licensee, licensee has performed to date on the field. If you take a look. And then you read towards the end, it said all such work shall amount to no less than $7,500. I've added that in there. I didn't add it. That's the in-kind / payment of monies. Also, and I'm going to be down in paragraph 10. It says licensee shall not charge admission without written consent or approval of the board. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, providing insurance. So at this time, then we'll discuss it here. Formally, I'm submitting a proposal.
Does it also ask for COVID-19?
That's the thing, and I think that's we're in this new normal type of thing. I hate that phrase, but it's a new normal type of thing. I think we do need to submit addition that this is unique times.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's time next year we won't have to have that in there, but I think we do need to submit in here what their COVID-19 plan is for operating said tournaments. I think Ultimate has to submit that. Thank you, Ms. Wendy. I needed that. I'm glad you threw that in there.
I did see something on the website on the.
USSA's? Okay.
But yeah, that needs to be attached to the agreement. You're right.
Now, the discussion I'd like to have is dealing with paragraph 10. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There will be no admission fee charged. And I'm going to say it from the bench here. I do believe we were, as a board, we were hoodwinked from the beginning in this situation. I think Mr. Decker was too. We were led to believe back in February it would be an agreement from USSSA in the city. Come to find out it wasn't. And tournaments were played. Practices were held prior to being able, due to the COVID dates, were allowed to happen. Admission was charged. without approval. And Eric, to this point, have you gotten a reckoning of the amount of money that Fall Creek Valley or Fall Creek Baseball softball collected during the time that tournaments were held?
I have not.
And they were informed that that was to occur. We need to know
Jeff,
that
can I
amount
add something?
And where it plans to go. Also,
Jeff,
and
can I
that's
add
kind of the
something?
idea. I'm done with charging admission. I thought it would be a good idea to help offset some cost and the like. I'm not in the mood for that. I hate to sound so callous. Additionally, the $7,500 that of in-kind services that Ultimate Tournament Services provides to Fall Creek is totally separate from the $7,500 of in-kind or cash payment that Fall Creek Baseball. All right, and I'm going to. Me telling someone to do this, you're going to have to speak just a little louder, but we're in good shape, knock on wood. I'll wrap up here. What I was saying, the $7,500 in-kind work that Ultimate Tournament Services is totally separate from the $7,500 of in-kind / money, cash that Fall Creek Valley that we agreed to in their league agreement. Those are two separate entities.
And how are we going to do the accounting on this? Because we're dealing, it's a different situation because this is a private entity now we're dealing with.
Right. And Eric and I had that discussion today. I'll go ahead and say, I've been kind of busting Eric's chops. I go, how are we going to do this where we have to be upfront with the public? Are we? And this is a question for Eric. Eric, when we're doing a reckoning of in-kind services, is that when they say they weed eated or picked up the trash, or we have to have proof of that? No offense, we have to have proof of that. How do you get billable hours out of that? If I'm going to put you on the spot right now, what would you say are the tangible in-kind services that have been provided?
And I know that they've been out there working on the fields. We'll have to take some of it with the knowledge that they're providing us the correct information. And again, I've seen two guys out there working almost every night in the fields doing a lot.
Now, who are they?
They're not my employees, and I believe they're being paid by Fall Creek Baseball. So
Are they being paid for by Ultimate Tournament Services?
I believe that's the situation, yes.
And these are all strictly this inquiry questions, then we would probably need to know what they're getting paid.
How many hours they've worked and
It's got to be that specific.
what they've done to, yeah.
Now, are we talking about things over and above normal things that you would do to get a baseball field ready, like lining the field?
Are they lining the field, paying for those?
See, that wouldn't count.
They're doing, yeah, Tom, they are doing that, but they're doing some work outside of the, they've done some painting out there, and I've seen them weed eating underneath the bleachers and things that I'd have to send a crew out there to do. I know they actually sprayed Roundup around the major or the large diamond. So there's been work done out there by other than.
In other words, RJ would not have to schedule this as a project during a Monday through Friday workday.
Yeah.
Now, what physical, I hate to, I'm sounding like an idiot here. What physical material equipment have been placed out there? You mentioned those mounds.
I've seen the
Portable mounds.
portable mounds. If those stay with Fall Creek, I would imagine they'll probably pick those up every year and take them, store them so they don't get.
Now, the lining of the fields, for example, during regular baseball season, Fall Creek does all their lining of their fields. Now, do we calculate in their in-kind services?
No, that's just part of the operation of preparing the diamond.
That's where we get a little clarification.
That's my.
Let me just ask, if it's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
portable mound to stay with Fall Creek, how does that benefit us?
The theory of the in-kind is, excuse me, is that Carol Helmus would be the perfect one, because she's the one that, when she was on the board, explained, because of her boy playing baseball, pitching mounds, they are possibly the single biggest pain in the butt to fix, especially if you're playing 6, 8, 10 baseball games over a 3-day period. You just can't keep up with it, with kids digging at it. You've seen a major league game. It would be an improvement back to the little league and to the kids that play out there. Okay, it's a safety thing, but those portable mounds are an enhancement, and I'll be blunt, it's a one less pain in the butt thing that you can never get a baseball pitching mound right.
Are they safer?
I believe they are, because you get consistency. If you're playing 1, 2, 3, especially if you play 3 games or 2 games even back to back, for those 2 games you're getting a consistency.
Yeah.
Which, even when you go see a big league baseball game or an Indians game, definitely by the 7th inning, the grounds crew's out there. You see them tamping and fixing the mound. So those portable mounds allow for a consistency.
And so we don't have to maintain them the way we would have had to
Or
maintain them. It helps
The
with
league
our
doesn't have to
maintenance.
put the additional funds
Okay.
into it, yeah.
Because we all know, well, they know Fall Creek, but we definitely know those fields are just, because of what's underneath them, those fields are in constant agony, because they would never really should have been a baseball field. Let's just be honest, because it's not, the subsoil is just not made for that.
It's a landfill, right?
Yeah, it's a landfill. Yes, it is definitely a landfill. Go down 8, 10 feet, you'll never know what you find. So that is what's before us. My friends from Fall Creek, please chime in. I'm going to give you the airways right now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
The first question I have for you is, has anyone spoken with the Ultimate to understand if they want to sign a new contract?
No, the Parks Department reached out to him today, and I have not heard back from him, so.
Now, I'm going to caveat onto that. Kevin, I'm going to caveat, we could approve this agreement. It just doesn't become active until all parties have signatures are attached to the document. And the big one with me, the proof of insurance by all parties concerned. Yeah, the insurance thing just, yes. Any other questions out there? Anyone? Okay. Colleagues, do you have, I tried to make it as clear as we can. I want to give a high five to City Legal. Ashley, she did a nice job. I'm also will compliment this board. We dealt with the situation as it was presented to us. And I am hopefully, as I told you guys in my commentary today, I want to undo what I thought was a bad situation, because I want to see bodies out there playing baseball. And even though I don't want to see, there will be no admission charge, I want Fall Creek Baseball to operate a concession stand, because you've got to survive going into the fall. And I want those kids that are playing on Fall Creek, well, even the kids that aren't Fall Creek, I want them playing fall ball, and I want a sense of normalcy for the kids to go out and just play daggone baseball.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
Jeff, can I add something else?
Yes, sir.
One of the big things that we were, when I say we Fall Creek was benefiting from, was receiving a portion of the gate fee. Without that, I don't know if it makes sense for Fall Creek as an entity to assist with you trip having these games at the fields.
But are you you're still operating a concession stand, correct?
We are, but our concession revenue is very limited with tournaments, and kind of the nature of the beast of many of these teams that travel with tournaments, they tend to go to so many different venues
Yeah.
that they get more into the mode of not spending a ton of money at concessions. So even knowing that coming in, that's one of the things we were considering about collecting that gate fee. It makes it beneficial for us. Without that,
Well, go ahead, Tom.
I was just going, do you have more games scheduled with your team, your travel team at your venue?
Do we have games scheduled with our travel?
Yeah, I know you do have. You're having games now, right?
Our travel teams are having games, and we have 4 travel teams, and we also have an 8U select team. That's a recreational team. They are also playing.
Now, where are they currently playing at? I can think that's where we're going here, Tom.
No, they're playing it.
But they are playing.
Fall Creek.
Okay.
Do they play? How often do they play?
I know the rec team played around 14 games this summer.
Okay.
You may be a little bit higher than that. Travel teams, I don't have that information. Will, do you know?
They play every weekend, and occasionally they'll play some pickup games during the week, but they will be playing every weekend, not necessarily at Lee Road Park, since this is the current situation, but they do play every weekend.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Miss Wendy, Miss Karen, Helen, anyone? And I know Tom Burns and I have had this conversation. We're the old timers on the board, and I even discussed with the mayor this. It is a bit, and Eric and I have kicked this around. It's right to me. It's still a bit unsettling charging to go into a public park. Tom, you mentioned it of setting a precedent. And I know these are different times because you didn't have a spring season. And I'll be honest with you. I do not feel comfortable if this board does not have a current reckoning of the amount of money that has been collected in admission fees by either Ultimate or Fall Creek Baseball. I just don't feel comfortable right now. And even a reckoning.
Jeff, let me add to that. When we met last, you told us that we had 7 business days to submit a record.
My days were off. I forgot to count the 4th.
To Eric and you today.
Okay.
So that should be in both your inboxes, and the 7th day would not be until tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, because I actually forgot about the 4th of July. I know when I said that, I counted the 4th, and I counted Friday and, which as a business day, and I know I shouldn't have because that was the holiday. Colleagues, Tom, Wendy, on admission fees.
So can we share that number publicly?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes. We're a public entity.
I think it's 3502, and that was the portion that Fall Creek received, and it was for, I believe, 10 days of play, something in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So did Fall Creek get a 50%?
With that 3,500, your cut.
That was our cut.
Now, go ahead, Eric. Oh, you're looking.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, Eric. I'm pleading ignorance here for a moment. I can't remember last time we charged admission. So this is new territory for any group charged admission. My question is, Eric, because it's not stipulated, do we have to stipulate where that admission fee goes? Or just the amount collected?
We do not. Tournaments, soccer used to do tournaments.
Right.
IYSA or Indiana IHAA does it.
Right.
Soccer tournaments that we've had at the park.
But we're not.
That's the only thing I'm aware of.
Those aren't profit-making entities. Now we're dealing with profit-making.
Yeah, and that's where you got
business.
You got the not-for-profit Fall Creek with the for-profit Ultimate
Right.
tournament services.
That changes the picture.
Yeah. It does. And those other entities, I wish they did it. We have ticket number 1 is the first ticket we sell, and we sold 100 tickets that night. Well, we know exactly that's how many tickets were sold, and if they are $1 a piece, we better have $100 in the till at the end of the night.
And we know what the money's going to be used for.
I think that's kind of a new issue that we're having here at that $3,500, because we are going to be a hammer when it comes at the end of the year, financials, end of the year, more so in the past about the money that's taken in by either concessions or admissions prices or registration, and where it goes. We haven't been the best on that, but we have got to do that. Tom?
I don't think I feel personally comfortable with a for-profit entity making money from admission to a public park, but I'm willing to listen.
We're kind of on the same page here.
Yeah, and that's where I don't, the issue with the not-for-profit, because I legit know, because we have good confidence that our volunteers that run all of our youth sports leagues are operating in good faith.
And I still can't get past the idea that this is really like the electric scooter thing, where they just do it. They put us in a bad spot because there's some people that like the benefit from this and they want it.
Right.
Then they put us in a bad spot and want us to agree to something.
Yeah. Yes, and that part I do agree.
It's not fair the way it's been done.
Well, then I'm going to take it from the vibes that I'm receiving up here that this board is not in favor of allowing the charging of admission. I'm kind of getting that vibe. So, Will and Kevin, I'll be honest, I'll go out there and throw that out to you. If we do get up and get back to tournament playing out there again, I just have one. Yes, sir.
I just want kind of a clarification. Maybe I don't understand. Why is it that the schools allow admission when they play their games on the big field out there? And we can't charge admission when we play our games out there?
Well,
We have a cooperative agreement with the schools.
yeah, we did. That is true.
And we know where the money is going, and it's a public entity.
Well, no, I think we go back to what Tom just said here. It is a not-for-profit, which are them as, I think you guys are not-for-profit, aren't we, Ms. Wendy?
Better be.
Yeah, but the not-for-profit element is of MSDLT. The issue, we'll go back to what Mr. Burns just said, is the splitting of the admission fee is between not-for-profit Fall Creek baseball, softball, and Ultimate Tournament Services. That is the hang-up. And Ultimate Tournament, obviously, they're for-profit. I'm all for it. And they also are collecting an additional fee, which they have to because they're putting tournaments on, a fee from teams showing up and paying a fee. And yes, Mr. Tom?
Let me say one thing. If this had been done right from day one, we might be able to come to some agreement on this. The problem is that, it wasn't done right. And now we're backed into a corner.
Yeah.
And you want us to make an agreement and, has Ultimate Tournament Services or whoever we call them, have they contacted anybody in the city?
No, and I did forward the agreement to him today and phoned him and also left him a email and a text message, but
It doesn't seem to be that concerned about it.
Well, it's pretty late to get the invitation to something like this. Mr. Decker was actually in Alabama today.
Alabama.
He gets email.
Here's emails just saying, I'm in Alabama. You get it the same day as. It's tough to be very responsive.
Well, in defense here, remember, when we were working through this last week, and I don't want to play ping pong with this, we did have a 4th of July holiday, and I'll be honest, we were not going to, at the end of our meeting we were done, and this was going to step forward, and city legal stepped in and to find a compromise, and she has put some time into it. And I'll be honest, I was busting Eric's chops yesterday over at the office of what exactly this meant, and he fought me because he was getting the vibe that I didn't want to step forward. There had to be significant arm change. And yes, this came together very late in the game, probably 4 days at the most late in the game, because even Ashley City Legal was bombarding us with questions. And part of the other problem is our monthly board meeting happened to fall on today. Okay, 4 days after we started talking, discussing, and we were able to hammer out some type of what we see as an agreement / proposal to move forward. That I don't know. I definitely have no feel for my rest of my board colleagues that I think is fair enough. We can go back to playing tournament baseball, and Mr. Decker continuing his business with Fall Creek and now with the city being my goal.
So, Jim, let me add something. I guess this is really for everyone on the board.
Yes.
If the decision comes down to if Universe or the Ultimate Tournament will not accept this agreement without the gate fee, is the board just okay with not having an alternate park? I think what we're looking at is that's a very possible reality, and that revenue that we are now seeing is going to be non-existent because they're not going to be here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that if it doesn't seem like we can come to agreement, that the board can't come to an agreement with this. I mean, we can agree, and you guys could refuse not to sign it. That's fine, or you could agree to sign it, Mr. Decker not sign it. Then, of course, the key is you got 3 signatures here that have to go before the thing goes into effect, and if that is the case, it didn't go into effect. Fall Creek, who has an agreement with us now, can be in the tournament business. And by that, I mean you could host the tournaments. And that's kind of, OIO does that now, correct, Eric? If I'm wrong, how do they do theirs?
Yeah, well, they didn't have any tournaments this year.
Right, but in the past,
Yeah, their tournaments are ran directly by them.
So, to be honest, it's an either-or type of a situation, okay? And I know Adam and the other different event coordinators for baseball, I don't blame leagues working through them because they go out. That's their job. They advertise to bring in teams, and I know leagues like Fall Creek and the like. They're not necessarily in the promotion so much of tournaments. They're in the business of having young people play baseball. I understand why you would go into a relationship with a business that promotes the sport in mass. I understand that.
Jeff, just to piggyback on that a little bit, we have hosted tournaments in the past, and we would have loved to continue to host tournaments, but the way baseball works today,
Oh, I know.
teams want to go through the USSS pass.
Yes.
Because they get points toward championships, points toward
Yes.
other tournaments. And so, our league, like many others, have really struggled to bring tournaments to
I definitely know. Baseball in general is a travel league. Yes, it's travel league driven now. Even at the high school, it used to say at the non-high school level, but at the high school level, yes, I understand it is travel driven. That's why I think, in my opinion, taking another bite of the apple with this newest use agreement, it maybe gives a chance to fulfill that opportunity. Comments, colleagues, my Fall Creek friends, Mr. Eric? Okay. Well, I'm going to present the motion.
That's one more.
Oh, yeah, that's open.
What was the impetus for this agreement that we're looking at? What brought this back to us? Why did we get a new version of this today?
I don't know what
I'm trying to understand where this came from.
I personally, I think it's one of those examples. We don't get a whole lot of attention until somebody, and I don't know who somebody is, till somebody gets bent out of shape and either makes a phone call, or Eric gets a phone call going, from city legal, what did that lease use agreement look like? And sent it over, and Ashley began to make the tweaks to it. And I think that's how it got there.
So was the legal department happy with the agreement? What was their opinion on the fees or no fees for?
Yeah, what feel did you get with
In regards to,
the original one that we voted down?
again, I think it was the fact that your vendor didn't want to participate. And the administration and the city legal saw, okay, these people are now leaving the park and aren't going to be playing. This is a way to bring them back in.
But what did they say about charging the entrance fee?
I don't know that she had one, again, it's a board decision.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not totally against an entrance fee.
No, and I think I can speak for Mayor Steve, was a lot like us up here going, or what you said, Wendy, you're charging a fee to get into a public, but he come back and say, he goes, I'm not necessarily totally against it. It's just, you're charging to go into and Tom, a public park, but Tom I think gave the best description. The issue isn't so much Fall Creek baseball, softball, not for profit, but a for profit, getting a cut of that admission when they're already getting monies from team entering.
I mean, it's a pretty good size chunk of money from when teams enter.
Yeah, and that's the issue where that comes from.
You don't want a for-profit business making money on a public park.
No, and even no. I mean, of course, you have
Where does that stop, and who else it sets a precedent that is not good.
and
Not good for us, because a lot of people could make decent money, just put up a sign, admission.
and some people will fire back. I'll use
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, I
You just
think
put up a
that's-
sign, there's an admission, boom, and there was no
that's the point.
permission.
is
Yeah.
that it was done without coming to us and seeing if we could work something out ahead of time. I guess I'm not totally opposed to
No.
charging an entrance fee, and maybe there might even be a for-profit, but I don't see the willingness on the part of Ultimate Tournament Services to cooperate on this. He clearly said he wasn't willing to pay anything.
Yeah, and there are examples of for-profit.
I'll tell you that their COVID procedures were, what I saw, zero.
Yeah, that got to me.
Fall Creek, I think, took steps, but I didn't see any. I saw one little sign in the entrance where the people came in and paid their fee that you couldn't possibly read. The people in the car couldn't possibly have read that sign.
Well, I walked through the park, and there was absolutely no social distancing, and
Right.
there were absolutely no masks.
None
It
with
was
the code, too.
outside. It was outside. I don't think it was against state law,
Right.
but it was.
And I don't want to fall into example, because they had a nice turnout out there, and it looked like, I'm talking pure baseball, it looked like the way baseball's supposed to be run. But I know they had 250 plus people out there, which is also, happens to be an issue with gatherings right now.
Right.
So those are just some other things and the like. Fall Creek friends, anything before I put the motion up to a vote, my friends?
I want to tread lightly on this because I'm not a representative of Ultimate Tournament.
Right. I understand.
Adam did present to us a COVID-19 plan that USSS and their subsidiary companies are putting in place. So I think they do have formal protocols. How well they follow those, I don't know. I don't know how easy it is to police those protocols, but
Okay. Well, and then go back like I was saying earlier. If like I told Virgil, we have to be intentional and purposeful. We just can't print out a piece of paper and say we have it on file. And this is not. I'm not lecturing you. I'm lecturing Ultimate Tournament Services right now, so I'm speaking to them indirectly. But they can have a procedure on file with us, or we can go online and get it from USSSA. We can get all of that. But if it's not enforced, I mean, they have an obligation. They're collecting fees from teams to play. They have an obligation. And they've done that. They've shown their dedication, at least have a facility that's safe to play on. They've weed-eat it and preparing. That's the part of it is we're in different times. We have to go beyond the pitcher's mound and that element.
I am correct that they played games without insurance.
That's
There were
right.
games that were played previously that were without
Right.
insurance. Is that right?
We don't know.
Well, 6/12 through 6/24, there was 49 games played.
And when did we get, and the insurance statement that we got was just for the weekend of the 29th, or?
I believe so, Jeff. Yeah, that
Yeah, it was Friday,
before.
Saturday, Sunday, right? Because they were playing on Friday when we met,
Right.
and they got Friday, Saturday.
Jeff, let me add, that Ultimate did have insurance prior to that date. He just didn't have insurance with the city of Fall Creek.
That, and it goes kind of back to what it's better, don't get me wrong. We don't know that. City Legal definitely doesn't know that, and that's kind of goes back to that whole, if you're going to do this, now I'm lecturing again, now I am lecturing, you got to be purposeful and intentional with what we're doing here. Okay, we didn't know from Adam, no pun intended, who Ultimate Tournament Services happened to be. Like I said, my freak out moment is when we don't have proof of insurance. That's why I better rephrase how I'm saying that. We, meaning the city and this board, we did not have proof of insurance, and that hits a chord. And it's in our special use agreement with you folks and everybody else that proof has to be of that insurance have to be with the city. And I'll be honest, it's possibly a learning, teachable moment for everyone involved. That I understand.
One of
Go ahead, Tom.
We're not depriving kids of playing. It's just depriving Ultimate Tournament Services of having a place to play their games. These kids are playing games, I mean, you said every weekend, so, and through the week too, and the fields here are open if they want to schedule games here. So we're not depriving the kids of playing.
What is I'm sorry, Tom. What is that impact with Fall Creek? I'm going to use Fall Creek. That's who we're interested in. Fall Creek baseball. How does this impact if Ultimate Tournament Services is not out at Fall Creek baseball and softball?
You know, that's actually a pretty easy answer for me because we've been looking at this for some time. The quality of our park is on a very slow decline.
Yeah, that I agree.
Lots of things that we identified last year that we can't remediate.
Right.
Our fields are starting to roll because of what they're building on.
Yeah.
We have electrical conduits coming loose from the poles that we can't afford to attack.
Right.
Once those fail, there'll be no lights on some of our fields as well as it's a hazard to anyone in proximity of those poles. And I guess they're great. Numerous other things we can name that are along those same lines that we just do not have the resources to improve and just continue to grow worse.
Eric, anything on that?
It's probably
Probably a fair assessment. Right.
just, it takes a certain amount of capital to keep that facility up, and
We're falling behind in being able to, I hate to, it's not that's what he said, it's where it's built, and we're spending actually more money to maintain than we are to improving
On
it.
lots of things, we're at the maintaining stage.
Yeah, not at the improving.
Building stage is the maintaining, and, you know, there's tons of things that could be done in all the parks.
The
correct.
master
We're not just
plan,
talking about one park.
Go ahead, man.
master plan will create new opportunities, new diamonds, new possibilities for the Fall Creek League.
Yes.
Correct? So,
Fingers crossed.
yes.
Well, actually, I've seen the master plan, but I have not seen those corrections for fall.
Now, the master plan, if you've looked at, it would be previous master plans that are out there. The one that we're currently working on, there is a, I'm not privy to necessarily discuss a master plan that is a work in progress. But improvements at all of our facilities, I will keep it general here, at all of our facilities are on the horizon, and the ability to seek out fees through our Lawrence Parks Foundation, which are more than free the public to join. Thank you, Mr. Sean Denny, for getting on that. We're having to get very creative in ways to do park stuff. Joe Murphy, Tyler are glad that they are trying to squeeze pennies or dimes out of pennies for us. It's a work in progress where we're at. So just for yes.
I don't want to be Mr. Doom and Gloom here.
Oh, I know, geez.
I will tell you, Will and myself, and Will's the president, I'm the vice president.
Right.
One of the things that kind of keeps us up at night is when do we start getting to the point where we have field conditions that are unplayable? And some of our fields are approaching it. We do have one of our 9 fields that today is technically unplayable. And so the other fields are going to be joining that group. So to your original question, what does it mean for ultimate tournaments being a part? This gives us funding for some capital improvements that this park very much needs. And without it, I don't know how we're going to fix some of those bigger problems.
Colleagues. I don't feel like I'm going back here. I don't even know if Ultimate would even agree. I'll just make a generic statement here, vanilla statement here, to my board members here on the possibility of allowing a one-way admission price, meaning the not-for-profit being, we'd have to go back and we'd have to go back and amend the agreement that we currently have at Fall Creek Little League. So I'm thinking out loud right now. Let Fall Creek be the only charger of admission and the lone benefactor of the money. And that to do that, we'd have to go back, unlock the other agreement, and amend it, correct? Because they cannot charge admission.
Yeah, this agreement has all 3 entities in it. If you wanted to go back to your original Fall Creek agreement, you could amend it that
We'd have to add language such.
they could charge, you could give them the dates that they could charge.
And I just throw them that because I'm thinking out loud.
But again, you're setting a precedent.
I know, that public, that was me thinking out loud. Okay.
If there ever were to be a charge, there must be signage that anyone coming in to use the park not connected with the baseball league is free to come in.
Correct.
And the signage must be visible in a couple places.
Yes, exactly. So, okay. Are there any other questions here? Statements? There's always lots of concerns. We know that. That's why we've been kicking this around for so long. Are there any others that we need to discuss here? Fall Creek people, board people, Eric people. Okay. The motion as it reads, and you guys have read it, I would entertain to make a motion entering into an agreement with Ultimate Tournament Services as the licensee and Fall Creek Baseball and Softball for the dates indicated with the language of in-kind services provided. I am still going back on my statement. I am still not real comfortable with charging an admissions fee at this time. If we were to have an opportunity to come back to this in 2021 and we did it by the book, I probably would not have a problem with charging a fee. I feel a little better of who I am dealing with from the for-profit side of the aisle here. That's my commentary. Take it for what it's worth. So,
I'm really trying not to have another meeting, but until we hear something from Ultimate Tournament Services, what's the point?
well, that's I brought that up with Eric.
Again, the board can approve it, and if he doesn't approve it, then he doesn't approve it, or Fall Creek doesn't approve it, it's not enacted, so.
Okay,
That's where I was going with. That's why I thought we can do action on it, and if it, it can get vetoed by one of the two other parties. Okay. Are there any more questions from the board? All right, I would need a motion then in a second to move forward. Anybody?
So moved.
There a second?
Second.
Second. We will commence the vote. I'm going to start over here. I feel bad. I move to my left all the time, so I'm going to start on the right. Miss Wendy, you're over there in an island. I'm sorry. Miss Wendy?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Burns?
aye.
Ms. Taylor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Taylor, aye. The president will vote aye. The motion to enter an agreement does carry unanimously. Fall Creek baseball folks, since we do not have any conversations with Ultimate Tournament Services, I would let you stew on it, think about it, talk it out. If you're amenable to agreeing and signing said document, will have my signature on it at Mr. Eric's office. And if you want to chat a little bit, you guys have my email. Feel free to chat. And I'm more than willing to even come out there and chat with you there. So that's where we stand with it. And with that being said, I will open it up to point number 7. Is there any additional public comment on any topic that we have discussed or wish folks would like to contribute? No, thank you, guys. I appreciate your time, effort, and energy. Like I said, you're crazy enough to do it, and I respect the heck out of you for doing so. All right. Meeting adjourned.
All right.